Ava, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. So today we are revisiting a very old, ancient part of YouTube. Remember the era when everybody used to read like creepypastas and like creepy stories? That's what we're gonna be doing today. So we have here a creepy story titled, "I Think My Family's Reflection Took Them." I'm never gonna look in a mirror again, but let's read this story together. Let's just get into it. Cue the spooky music. Cue the creepy lighting. Okay, maybe we won't do creepy lighting. Uncue the creepy lighting. Let's get into the scary story. Lord, forgive me if I'm all over the place. The sheriff wanted me to jot down everything that's happened, or at least everything that I can describe. They were kind enough to let me get Already? They were kind enough to get me one of them assistive keyboards to type all of this all out. Even getting everything out there, I'm not sure if they're going to believe me, but they ain't got a choice. I know what I heard. I won't be able to forget what I heard. What did you hear? See, I live with family over in the woods. We got a lot of square acreage, so we ain't got much neighbors. I'm so bad. Why did I decide to do this for a video? Actually, none, I guess. But we ain't lonely. With me... Should I be reading this in an accent? But we ain't lonely. With me, Ma, Pa, Grammy, and my siblings. I'm so sorry. I'll stop now. Tammy, Uncle Frank, and Aunt Debbie, and my cousins Sarah Lee and Caroline. Damn, full house. That's funny. That's literally the next line. We got a full house. It's a lot of work to keep a farm running, and we need all the hands on deck. Only I can't help as much as I want to on account of me being blind. Oh, this is gonna take a scary turn. Pa says I do more than enough, but I still try to help whenever I can. Anyway, everything started this morning. Everything started off normal. I got ready for the day, heading downstairs to help Ma with the breakfast. The smell of syrup and fresh bacon led me right to her. I remember hearing Pa say, "Good morning." It's literally how it's spelled. It's spelled, "Good morning." His voice always reminding me of a far-off storm with its rumbling. I'm gonna miss hearing him speak. Your cousins are out with the cows. I tried waking up your siblings, but they'll sleep like the dead if they don't get their breakfast first. Ma pitched in, her voice like the soft ring of a wind chime. Well, I'm almost done here. They should come barreling down soon. On cue, the rapid, clumsy footsteps alerted me of my incoming brother and sister. Okay, can we skip to the good part? Blah, 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 good morning, blah, 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 exchanging orange juice. Breakfast went as normal. He compared Aunt Debbie's voice to the yipping of a small dog. Uncle Frank was late, I guess, so Aunt Debbie chirped up the stairs. And that's how breakfast went. My uncle had a bit of a limp, so it was easy to know when he was coming. Says it was from a war, but it was always a different war when you asked about it. He had a rhythm on how he walked. Thump, thump, thump. You know, only this time, I knew something was off. I heard him coming down the steps and it sounded normal. Thump, thump, no hobble. I was expecting the voice of a man who smoked too many cigarettes with a bit of a wheeze to it. What I heard was a really good impression of that voice. Sorry, hun, alarm didn't get me up on time. No one acted funny when he spoke, but I know I stood up straight hearing it. I wasn't sure that was really my Uncle Frank. I can't tell you what was different. It was like if a famous celebrity impersonator imitated someone. Hard to tell it's different, but there was something different. Ugh. Everyone else seemed unbothered, going about their morning. Front door loudly swung open as Aunt Linda cussed out Uncle Frank. What the shameless. As he passed by me, another piece of the puzzle wasn't matching up. He smelled different. No, hold on, he didn't smell different. He smelled like nothing. That ain't right either. He took away smell. As he walked by me, it was like the smells of the kitchen faded away and returned when he was far enough past. I should have spoken up and said to Pa that something was wrong with Uncle Frank, but I don't know if it would have made much of a difference with how the rest of the day shook out. I took off to grab the eggs from the chicken coop, listening to the symphony of clucks, blah blah blah. Chicken coop, yay, fun. Then he said good morning to Sarah Lee and Caroline. Caroline had a higher pitched voice than Sarah Lee, but she was always eagerly about to slip out a piece of gossip that she had on the tip of her tongue. We're almost finished up with the crows now, could use a pair of hands. What about Damien? Sarah Lee asked as I listened to the sound of the milk filling the container. Gross, Sarah Lee, he's nasty. I'd rather kiss Maybelle here.
I think Damien likes you.
Teased Sarah Lee. And Sarah Lee left the barn and left him alone with Caroline. Caroline. It could be either one. So from what I'm gathering, Sarah Lee's in the bathroom, Caroline and Wyatt in the little barn thing with the cows. What about me? I stammered, feeling my cheeks grow hot. Come on, there ain't a girl that's always helping you carry your books and stuff. Before I could deny anything, there was a loud clatter from the bathroom with a muffled yelp from within. Ugh. Sarah Lee, you good? I asked, hopping off the hay bale. I'm good. Floor was a little slippery is all. I don't think the floor was just a little slippery. Door creaked open and her footsteps approached us. Despite the muggy summer heat, a chill ran through me when she passed by. My sense of smell dimmed, just like my uncle earlier. Oh, hell no. I wanted to mention something about it to her, but she cut off my train of thought before it could leave my mouth. Say, Wyatt, why don't you check up with your mom? She's probably gonna need help with your grandma. Thinking back to how she spoke, I can tell you what's wrong with it. It was a little too proper. There was almost a faint buzzing to her word. TV static or something like that. She also said grandma, which is weird because we all called her Grammy. You sure? I asked, feeling in my bones that something was wrong. I felt her place something large and metallic in my hand. mind. Of course I'm sure. Go on and bring that milk in. Me and Caroline will be in for lunch in a little bit. Just need to take care of a few more things before the rain rolls in. She tried to reassure me. Unable to justify my concerns, I did what she asked, hauling the milk container back into the main house and following a worn path back up to my house. As I approached, the door creaked open and then the voice of Ma soughed through the air. Right on time, Wyatt. I moved into the kitchen helping Ma put everything into place. So many hungry working people in the house, almost like she was tethered to the kitchen, always making sure the next feast was ready to go on time. Being near Ma brought me comfort. She always smelled like home cooking. She handed me a small bowl of soup and we set off. As we climbed up the stairs to Grammy's room, I couldn't shake off the weirdness of the day. Ma, did Uncle Frank look different today? I had to ask since everything else about him was so off. What do you mean, hun? Ma's voice twisted slightly in confusion or curiosity. I don't know, different. He sounded like maybe he was sick or something earlier. He usually don't sleep in that late. I felt stupid bringing any of this up. Well, I can't say I noticed anything different, though I guess he did look like he was standing up a little straighter. I don't think he took his cane out with him either. Can't believe he hasn't come back in for it yet. Ma knocked on Grammy's door frame. We usually kept the door open so anyone who was passing by could see how she was doing. Me and Wyatt brought some soup. You hungry? Ma asked, with the gentleness of a warm blanket after a cold, muddy day. There was a familiar sound of her rocking chair squeaking back and forth, though with how old Grammy was, it might have been her bones making the creaking noise. That's crazy. Starved dearie. Dearie is such a funny word to me. Come on over here, Chase. Grandma's famished. Grammy's voice rattled like her vocal cords had holes in them. Often mistook me for my brother. I followed her voice, handing her the steaming bowl. I felt her leathery hands on mine. You're a good kid, she wheezed. A melodic ding went off downstairs. Ma shifted behind me. Oh, that's the cornbread. Ma jumped up and I heard her move through the room. A solid thump almost reverberated the room as Ma cussed before composing herself. Damn mirror. Really need to move this thing. Not the mirror. You don't mind keeping your Grammy company for a moment, do you? Sure, Ma, happy to. The lack of response told me Ma was already halfway down the stairs. I sat there in silence as I heard the slurping and gulping of my Grammy devouring her soup. It made my stomach roll, I ain't gonna lie. She started up some conversation when she came up for air. So Chase, how's school? And Grammy, junior year ain't so bad. Teachers are real nice. I told her what she wanted to hear for the sake of small talk with an old person. Damn. She responded with another sickening gulp of soup. A heavy onion smell permeating the room like the worst perfume imaginable. Mind if I open the window, Grammy? Sure, dearie, she gargled a mouthful. I moved as quickly as I could to the other side of the room, fumbling with the latch for the window. It didn't help that our house is old and sometimes the windows like to stick. As I was fumbling with the window, Grammy spoke. I know your mother's made this soup for quite some time. Why, when she was little, blah 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 blah. Then she gasped and got real quiet. Grammy? You alright? I asked, wondering if maybe the soup went down the wrong pipe or something. My Grammy let out a pitiful whimper. I could hear the shuddering in her voice. I was gonna call out to my Grammy again, or maybe call for Ma, but then I felt it. I don't know how, but it felt like it wasn't just me and Grammy in the room no more. Hell no! My heart went nuts when I heard the first step on the soft carpet. It was near where Ma stubbed her toe earlier. Who's there? Hello? I quickly blurted, pressed up against the wall next to the windowsill. Grammy, who is it? There was a pause. The air felt heavy and my tongue felt dry from fear. Quietly, full of fear, and maybe some sort of emotion even my Grammy couldn't process, she answered, "It's me." No, 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 no. What in the Us? What in the Tethered? What in that one movie where the mirror reflection turns evil? Oh my god. At once, the silence of the room was broken by rushing a feet across the carpet, launching into a panicked wail from my Grammy. Fast as I could, I went to go get help, fumbling to get my way out to the second floor hallway. I screamed at the top of my lungs. There was a clattering in the kitchen, a whirlwind of footsteps clambering up the staircase. What's wrong? But Ma was out of breath. I pointed towards Grammy's room. I don't know, it sounded like someone else was in the room, then Grammy made an awful sound. I felt the tears slide down my cheeks. Ma moved past me into the room. What's going on in here? She called out. Voice returned, sounding like my Grammy. I'm sorry for scaring you, dearest. Just a little spill of the soup is all. The heat caused me to yell. Nobody talks like that. I moved closer to my ma and shook my head. No, Ma, I know what I heard. That ain't right. There was someone in here, I whispered, standing at the threshold of the door. The room should have stunk like onion soup, but it didn't smell like anything. Ma, that ain't Grammy. Something happened to her. I pleaded softly, not to raise any suspicion from whatever's sitting where my grandma once sat. Wyatt, Janet, come help me, please. Ugh. I grabbed onto my ma's arm. It felt tense, like she could feel something was wrong too. Ma, we need to call 911. We both began to back up. Then whatever was in the room, it laughed. I'd never heard a laugh like that. It was sharp, raspy, and mean, like a rattler made of razor blades. Then the chair stopped rocking. There was a drumbeat of footsteps in the room. Then the crash of glass made me jump. Birdie, oh god, Ma gasped as she slammed the door shut and pulled me by the hand downstairs. Ma, did she just out the damn window? Ma confirmed. Did Grammy jump out the window? What the hell? Once downstairs, I pulled out my phone while Ma loudly, frantically moved to each window to look for any sign of Grammy. I dialed 911. Hello, 911, what's your emergency? The calm voice on the other end said, hey, my grandma just jumped out the second story window. We probably need an ambulance. Why was it so nonchalant? It felt crazy saying it out loud. My grandma could barely walk, let alone sprint and dive out a window. Alright, what's your address? We'll send police and medical out. I provided them with my information. In the background, I could tell Ma was getting more and more panicked, not seeing Grammy outside. Her breathing was getting quicker. Okay, storm's picked up over here, so we'll get out as fast as we can. The woman on the other end said, "Thank you." I hung up the phone. "Ma, police are on the way." Ma closed the distance, putting a hand on my shoulder. "Wyatt, what's going on?" She tried to speak in a way that was calming, but too frazzled for herself to remain calm. "I don't know, Ma. Something's wrong, though. Uncle Frank, Sarah Lee, Grammy, they ain't right. They don't sound right, and they don't smell right. They don't smell like nothing." Ma remained quiet for a moment, trying to figure out what was happening. "Something didn't look right with your Grammy," she confessed. "I took a closer look at her from what you said about Uncle Frank earlier. Her skin was a little glossy, like glass or something." Front door swung open loudly. I could hear Ma sigh in relief as my pa spoke. "Janet, what's going on?" I heard a crash and the window's out. As he approached us, his smell of faint tobacco told me he was safe.
"My mother jumped out the upstairs window, but something's going on."
Oh my gosh, like the way they all say it, like so nonchalant. What? Pa was alarmed, but my mother interjected. "Chris, hold on. Some of the family ain't acting right. They might be sick or something." Gertie sounded all wrong and she made a noise that I've never heard before. Wyatt called 911, so they should be here soon. "Is it just Gertie? Who else is sick?" he asked, the rough edges of his voice slightly softening. Okay, so they just like glitched my screen out. Uncle Frank, Sarah Lee, Grammy. I hesitated. Sickness. I didn't believe it was a sickness, but whatever it was, maybe it could spread like a sickness. Pa, Sarah Lee was with Caroline. Aunt Debbie was with Uncle Frank. Something might have happened to them. Where's Chase and Tammy? I could feel Pa shift to head back out. They were with me by the cornfield. I told them to stay put when I heard the noise. "I'll go get them. Lock the doors behind me. We'll keep the sick outside in the fresh air. Hopefully they don't spread what they've got." I nodded. Before he could make it out of the door, a faint sobbing grew louder and louder from the outside. I recognized it immediately as Tammy. Pa swung the door open, calling out to her.
"Tammy, get on in here."
That's exactly how it's spelled too. It's so funny. "There's your brother. What's wrong?" Panicked sobs and wails from my little sister were heartbreaking. "Close the door, Pa. Lock it. Something took Chase," she cried as she barreled inside. I heard her embrace Ma, her cries muffled. "Tammy, what happened?" I asked, hearing the click of the front door lock. It took Tammy a few moments of choking on tears and snot to compose herself enough to explain the nightmare she had just went through. Pa, when we heard the noise, he told us to stay put, and we did. Chase took out his phone to check something, and that's when she whimpered and all of the tears started flowing again. A hand came out of his phone and grabbed him. It grabbed Chase and pulled. I could hear from the shuddering in her voice that she was shaking in fear. Mom must have pulled her in closer to comfort her. This stupid website keeps bringing me back to the top and then making me restart. The phone grabbed Chase? Pa sounded stunned. I've never heard him so shocked before. It grabbed Chase and pulled him in. I ran, Pa. I'm sorry. Something clicked in my head. "Mirrors," I muttered. It was a sketch, but it was the only thing that I could think of that made a lick of sense. "What?" Ma asked. "Mirrors. I think it's the mirrors," I stammered, trying to put the pieces together. Sarah Lee started acting different after she went into the bathroom. There was someone by the mirror in Grammy's room. Now Chase got grabbed by his phone. It sounded more insane out loud, but no one said as much. "But you used your phone earlier." There was a hesitation in Ma's words. I didn't have an answer for this. She was right. Why hadn't I been grabbed? I was in the room with the mirror when Grammy was attacked, and I used my phone just fine. Dad spoke up as he moved about the house. "Lock every door outside. Right now, we just stay here in the kitchen and wait for the deputies. Stay away from any mirrors or anything like that." Now I'm scared. I got like several mirrors in my room. He returned to us and we stayed huddled out for a few minutes as a family. The storm clouds rumbled overhead, signifying their impending release. That was the last moment of calm before things got bad. As if they weren't already bad! I'm going on my laptop. I'm done with this. The first domino was Aunt Debbie frantically trying the front door.
"Let me in! Oh Jesus, let me in!"
She wailed, the doorknob rattling. Pa rustled for something in the closet, followed by the distinct sound of shells entering a chamber. There was a click by the front door. It was open for a brief moment, then shut and locked again. Aunt Debbie was talking a million miles per hour. "Something's wrong with Frank. He's been acting strange all morning and he tried to push me into the bathroom." Oh hell no, it is the mirrors. "The girls aren't right either. They were just watching him do it. I got away and then they started chasing me." Her panic sent her voice into an unbearable pitch. That's so mean. "Deb, take a breath." Pa tried to calm her down. "Sheriffs are on the way. Besides, it don't look like any of them followed you to the house." I could hear Aunt Debbie pacing the floor. "What's going on?" It's going to sound crazy, but body snatchers or some damn thing like that. Pa was having a hard time forming the words. Aunt Debbie just scoffed. "You're a moron, Chris. You hearing yourself? Body snatching? This ain't a sci-fi movie." Aunt Debbie has beef with the world, damn. She moved towards the back door, probably to look out the back window. Pa moved his way back to us. I know I sound stupid, but I'm telling you what was happening. There wasn't a response from Aunt Debbie. The house was still. The only noise was from the ticking of a clock on a wall. Then came the rain. A few pitter-patters were quickly built into a roar, like hearing a theater full of applause when you're outside of it. Each thunderclap rattled the foundation of our old home. It was in the storm that Aunt Debbie spoke up again, from down the hallway. Her voice was no longer panicked. Her voice was no longer fully hers. Oh my god, no. I looked, you know. It's really not so bad. You should look too. What in the bird box? Take a moment to reflect. Oh, no. No. My gut churned when the back door clicked open. Footsteps. Plenty of them. Squealing down the corridor. Pa racked his gun. "Stay back," he bellowed, doing what he could to stay strong. The footsteps slowed, but didn't stop. "Things will be better this way." It was Uncle Frank. Pa called out again. You stay right there, I mean it. But the footsteps marched on. Come on, dearies, take a look at yourselves. The thing parading around in the skin of my Grammy croaked. Sound of the gun going off in the room felt like it ruptured my eardrums, leaving me for a moment with only a high-pitched whine in my ears. I felt myself being moved, led by someone outside. The warm air from inside the house was replaced with the icy droplets of water spreading across my skin. When my hearing returned, there was so much noise. Swears from my father, the wails of fear from my sister, prayers from my mother. It bounced right off of him. Oh no. We need to make distance. Maybe the roads ain't too muddy for the truck. Wait, the mirrors. Pa was doing what he could to keep us alive. Our Father in heaven, please help my family in this time. The comforting softness of my mother's voice was gone. Only fear remained. The rain pelted us, our feet splashing through the formed puddles as we moved from the house. In an instant, a yelp sprang from my sister as I heard her tumble. Baby, come on, get up. Ma choked on her words. Chris, Tammy, the puddles, she cried. The puddles. Something wrong with the puddles. The panic exploded in her voice. She was thrashing. The sound of the storm mixed with her frantic splashing. I tried to grab her, but it felt like something was pulling her down. No, no! Get off her! Get off me! I could hear Pa struggling. He must have seen his own reflection trying to help Tammy up. Close your eyes, Janet. Close your eyes! I tried with all my might to fight the footing to help pull Tammy up, but the mud made it hard to find purchase, and she kept sinking deeper and deeper into the puddle. Wyatt, please! I could hear the water entering her mouth as she sank out of my reach, and possibly deep into the shallow puddle. That's creepy! What the hell? Pa's sound of struggles softened until all that was left was the curtain of the rain, my mother's whimpering sobs. Then it got worse. It sounded like something was coming up from the puddles. Don't be sad, Mama. I feel much better now. Wanna see? It was something trying to be Tammy. Ma, don't look. Don't look. I yelled over the storm around us, but I could hear muddy steps plodding up to us. Mom, don't you want to see your son? Look at how happy we are. Chase's voice slow, clumsy, like he was digging through his gums with his tongue for the right words. Mom must have had a moment of weakness. Her screams and the sloshing of water told me enough. Despite being surrounded, I'd never felt more alone. Wyatt, you could join us, son. Pa spoke up. I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. Would you like to see sport? We can do that, you know. You can join us, my uncle chimed in. I pushed away from them and ran. Unable to know where I was going, I just ran. A noise cut through the thrumming of the rain, of the echo of footsteps behind me. A siren. I was able to wave down the police car and convince them that my family was a threat to me. He got me into the back of his car and called for some backup. He brought me back to the sheriff's office where here I am, giving detailed notes of what went on. I can hear the officers laughing in the other room with my Pa. They're never gonna believe a word of this. That thing's probably convinced them that this is all a misunderstanding or a hyperactive imagination. Maybe they didn't even need to be convinced. Ever since the officer who gave me this typing device entered the room, I haven't been able to smell a thing.
What?
And this is written by Derek Levette. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. Let me just show you just in case. That was a really good story. Wait, except for me stuttering over my words. I'm scared of mirrors. I'm scared of water. I'm scared of puddles. I'm scared of water drops. I'm scared of my camera. Cover my viewfinder. Oh my goodness. That was freaking creepy. All right, well, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys liked me reading this creepy story. I will link the story down below for anyone that wants to go give it a read. But yeah, let me know if you guys liked me reading creepypastas and comment down below and let me know if you want me to do it again. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and go follow me on everything else. It's all at avamerceis. All right, I'm about to go downstairs and see my mother. Hopefully I can smell something while I'm down there. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. All right, I love you guys. Bye.